Trump versus Europe.
Imagine, what if one man could shake an entire continent? From NATO meetings turning tense, to trade wars threatening global markets, to allies questioning whether America could still be trusted. Donald Trump didn't just challenge Europe, he confronted it. This isn't just a story about politics. This is a story about power, pride, money, in a deep clash of worldviews. Today, we break down Trump versus Europe, what really happened, why it mattered, and why the consequences are still shaping global politics today. For decades after World War II, the relationship between the United States and Europe was built on one idea: America protects, Europe partners. NATO became the backbone of Western security. The US provided military power. Europe provided political unity. But Donald Trump never saw it that way. From day one, Trump argued that Europe was free-riding, enjoying American protection while spending less on defense. In his words, NATO wasn't an alliance, it was a bad deal. This belief would define his entire relationship with Europe. Trump shocked European leaders by openly questioning NATO itself. At multiple NATO summits, he accused allies, especially Germany, of failing to pay their fair share. But it wasn't just criticism. Trump reportedly threatened to withdraw the United States from NATO if members didn't increase defense spending immediately. European leaders were stunned. For the first time since the Cold War, they had to ask a terrifying question: what if America walks away? While some countries did increase defense budgets, the damage was already done. Trust, once broken, is hard to rebuild. If there was one country Trump openly targeted, it was Germany. Trump accused Germany of exploiting the US through unfair trade, undermining NATO by buying Russian energy, and becoming economically powerful while militarily weak. He especially attacked Germany over the Nord Stream 2 gas pipeline, calling it a security threat that made Europe dependent on Russia. German leaders pushed back. They argued that trade surpluses were market-driven, energy policy was a sovereign decision, and America was overstepping its role. This clash wasn't just political, it symbolized a deeper divide: America first versus Europe's multilateral vision.
Then came the trade war. Trump imposed tariffs on European steel and aluminum, claiming they threatened U.S. national security. Europe responded with retaliatory tariffs, targeting American products like motorcycles, whiskey, and jeans. For the first time in modern history, the US and Europe were in a trade confrontation. Markets reacted, businesses suffered, and the idea of a united West began to crack. Trump believed tariffs were leverage. Europe saw them as betrayal.
The conflict didn't stop at money or military. Trump pulled the US out of the Paris Climate Agreement, while Europe doubled down on climate leadership. Trump withdrew from the Iran nuclear deal, while European nations tried desperately to keep it alive. Time and again, Europe found itself saying, "This is not what we agreed on." America was no longer coordinating. It was acting alone.
Slowly, Europe began to change. French President Emmanuel Macron openly called for European strategic autonomy, a Europe that could defend itself without America. The European Union discussed independent defense systems, alternative financial networks, reduced reliance on US leadership. Trump, ironically, pushed Europe closer to unity, not by cooperation, but by confrontation. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Some of Trump's criticisms weren't entirely false. Many European countries were underfunding defense. Trade imbalances did exist. America was carrying a heavy burden. But Trump's approach, public pressure, threats, and unpredictability, turned allies into skeptics. Instead of reforming the alliance, he destabilized it. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Some of Trump's criticisms weren't entirely false. Many European countries were underfunding defense. Trade imbalances did exist. America was carrying a heavy burden. But Trump's approach, public pressure, threats, and unpredictability, turned allies into skeptics. Instead of reforming the alliance, he destabilized it.
Trump may be out of office, or possibly returning, but the impact remains. Europe now knows U.S. leadership is not guaranteed. Alliances can change overnight. Dependence is a vulnerability. And America knows power without trust has limits. Allies are not just assets, they're multipliers. Whether Trump was a disruptor, a realist, or a wrecking ball depends on who you ask. But one thing is undeniable. Trump changed the U.S.-Europe relationship forever.
So the real question is, did Trump make America stronger? Or did he weaken the West? And if Trump returns, will Europe be ready this time? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe for deep, unbiased global analysis, because in geopolitics, nothing is ever as simple as it seems.